This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're in somewhere in London here. I'm joined by KALLE SAUERLAND.
South London. I'm actually from North London, but today we're in South London. Nice to see you, Kug, on this side of the water.
So between last night...
You get over okay from Essex today?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. From last night to, in the space of, what, 10 hours, you gave me 3 different venues. Was that strategic to keep me on my toes?
Always. First, it was 2 reasons. It's 2. Number 1 was keep you on your toes, and number 2, you know, a bit of intrigue in there. Like to keep people guessing.
Anyway,
listen. You've come all the way this morning. I think you had a long ride, so I thought...
I'm not doing this now. I'll do this at the end.
We're going to do these now.
No, because I won't be able to do the interview.
I'm telling you, you'll be fine.
Sit back.
These are ginger shots, right? Now, these are sensational, Cook. This is the way to start your day. You know.
You do yours one. I'm doing mine at the end because I won't be able to function.
You do yours, but you promise, yeah?
I've said it, haven't I?
This is pure ginger, yeah? So go on, crack away.
No, I just want to see you doing this.
You just think now. All good. All good.
Yeah, do another one.
Right, now we're ready.
Now we're ready.
Let's talk boxing.
Right, hold on 1 second.
Or football, whatever you want to talk.
Yeah, who?
Talk pubs, women,
yeah,
football,
because a lot of people were
boxing.
asking, who were you supporting the other day, England or Colombia?
I've been England since I've been a kid because I moved to England when I was born, so I don't know anything else apart from England. Actually, it's a big internal debate in the family. My old man obviously follows Germany, and actually I remember I used to, as a kid, travel away with England, all the tournaments. The last one I did proper was Euro 2000, Belgium, Holland. It was a great crack. Fuck, you know, took a couple of weeks over there. It was a good laugh. But I remember my first memory of Germany, England was Euro 96. I was at the semi, and I was with my old man, and we weren't in VIP seats or something, normal seats, and the old Wembley, the best Wembley, the only Wembley, Twin Towers. And I just remember the penalty shoot. And first of all, I remember the balls going off the line, and I thought, oh, we finally done it. And my old man all quiet. And then, of course, after that, then it was, you know, the penalty shootout. And my old man has stood up and started cheering like a maniac. I think, oh my God, this is going to kick off. Yeah? But nothing happened. He was very happy. I was pissed off. Yeah, it was a night. It all kicked off down Trafalgar Square afterwards. It was a terrible night. I just remember. I remember being a horrible night. That Euro 96. It was such a great tournament. It was a great summer. It's Coming Home was the first time it was played on the radio. It was like the whole town, the whole of England was buzzing. But it was a great vibe in London.
Especially after they smashed Holland.
Holland was. I was in the West End for that. Watching it. I was in Leicester Square watching that. That was insane. Sheringham, Gaza. Yeah, it was good.
Because your brother WhatsApped me a picture the other day of you.
Sheringham, Gaza, I've known this. I mentioned the only 2 Tottenham players in the team.
Obviously, well, it's quite heavily influenced by Tottenham at the moment.
By the way, you know, everyone's talking about Pickford and amazing save. But you've got to give. I mean, Trippier. Well, I have a soft spot for Trippier because my son was a mascot and he walked on with Trippier. And Trippier and Dyer, and talk about them. I mean, for me, Dyer, of course, he scored the winner, but the pressure on Trippier, it was all...
And Rashford.
Yeah, Rashford as well, yeah, of course.
They're young players. No, but I'm saying that altogether, young players, they've not been in that position before.
I felt for Henderson.
The pressure of that.
But... I felt for the 2 Colombian kids as well. I mean, it's a horrible thing, the penalty shootouts, but something got to be done, isn't it?
I was just saying, your brother WhatsApped me a picture of you on the night of Colombia, England, wearing a Pablo Escobar t-shirt. Cheering the equaliser.
I've got it on the phone. He goes, what's he say again? He goes, there's one where he goes, what is it? He goes, cancel the shipment to England. They're getting F all. I think there's some absolute, that one there.
I think people have seen it.
Yeah, it's sensational.
That's not, by the way, that's not the real Pablo Escobar. That's the actor that plays him in Narcos.
I know my uncle.
Obviously.
Joking aside.
Right,
let's talk boxing.
Okay, let's talk about obviously the huge deal that you announced with DAZN recently to air. Is it all 15 fight nights?
Absolutely. Every second, every bit of side programming. Now, for American fans, if you don't know DAZN, I know them very well from Germany, where they have come on unbelievably in the last couple of years. Just got the Champions League of football as well in Germany. It's an amazing tool. So first time I heard of OTT, I was like, oh, God, but it's sensational because you can watch it back. It's very easy to use, but they're so aggressive in their content. So they're going out. So they've got Bellator. Obviously, they deal with Matchroom. Which at the moment is a bit nondescript, but I think they're going to fill that very nicely.
Did they do a deal with Matchroom? I haven't seen anything about that.
About $1 trillion, you know. I called up Ed. I said,
we haven't heard about that one.
I said, you see the back pocket here? You know, we need to do some business with that $1 trillion. No, joking aside, it's a great deal. I think it's great that. I think it's also great that Matchroom's doing more in the States. I think it freshens the market up. You've got to look at America. A year ago, or 18 months ago. It was, you had PBC spending a lot of money on big cards, very nice, but it was all over the place. For a promoter, a lot of the stuff was getting given to channels to try out, which is certainly an interesting model. We could argue now if that worked or didn't work, but it was very difficult for a promoter to come into the market because the product was being given away to the big networks. You had HBO who was sort of reeling it in a little bit. Quite frank, HBO hasn't exactly done the most greatest cards in the last couple of years. Apart from the pay-per-views, it's been very thin. And then if you look at Showtime, well, they've done what they normally do. They've put some good cards together, but it hasn't. It was the market wasn't in a good place for someone coming in. And if you look at it now, you've got obviously DAZN, who's clearly rocking the market at the moment. They're absolutely really aggressive. It's very good for boxing. Mustn't forget, we're not a sport that relies on leagues and funding and God knows what. We rely on businesses getting involved in our sport. So I think it's great that Performer. I think it's a super company, and I think it's super that they're getting involved more and more in boxing. And they're boxing fanatics from the top down. Seems to be from the owners to the management team, and that's great. That's great. But you also look at the developments with ESPN, with Top Rank. I think that's also great for boxing. There, it's out. See the numbers they're doing. They're good numbers. They're not sensational numbers, but they're good numbers. They're solid numbers that you can build on. You won't do it overnight. But let's put it into perspective. When people say, "Oh, it's not that DAZN won't be getting the numbers for you," I said, "Rubbish." I said, "DAZN will be pushing this like crazy." If you look at the American market, they scream and shout and dance and open the champagne when they get 1 million viewers on HBO. Right? 1 million viewers. I get 1 million viewers for my trailers in Germany. Right? I get 1 million viewers out of Scandi. Right? So, when I saw recently numbers of Huey Fury on Channel 5, unbelievable numbers, great numbers, And for me, it's baffling that in America, there's not more free-to-airs taking it, but it's not happening. So I think it's great that an OTT service like DAZN is attacking the market so aggressively. Great for boxing. And people say, English fans watching now, they say, well, it's great for boxing, but what's it got to do with us over here? Yeah. Well, I tell you what it's got to do with you, because it filters. It comes down. It's like a Christmas tree, right? Presents are always at the bottom, right? And they're spread. So, I think every penny that goes into the sport, and you talk about projects like the World Boxing Super Series, tournaments that it's like a Champions League of football. It filters down to the grassroots. We're going to get more involved in the World Boxing Super Series season 2 at the grassroots level as well, supporting clubs, etc. We started the company a year and a half ago, so it's a little bit of a time thing as well. We know that there's things that we're going to get even better at. But I think we've come a long way and made a lot of fans happy in the first year.
Were you in talks with any other broadcasters regarding the deal for the US?
Absolutely, we had offers also from other broadcasters, especially for season 2. Still in discussions around the finals, but season 2 is the one. I mean, super lightweights is, you know, we knew at the time that the US was a tricky market a year ago. So the super middleweights and the cruiserweights were never going to catch the US on fire in terms of domestic interest. There's now huge interest around the finals because of obviously the success of the semi-finals of the tournament so far. But now you're talking weight classes that are US very relevant. Yeah, the super lightweights is, you go look the last 5-6 years. It's absolutely one of the let's say 3-4 premium weight classes in the States. Bantamweights, you just know that there's some very interesting names that are going in there, have gone in there. We're about to announce a very nice name for the US, probably later today, maybe tomorrow. Actually, you know what? I'll give it away. Anita Donaire, he's going to be probably number 8 at bantamweight.
Really?
Down. Yeah, he's stepping down. So he just felt that he was out. Let's say was too light. Was not his weight.
Is that your bantams complete?
That is our bantams virtually complete. Yeah, I have to go through it. But yeah. Couple of dots and I's to announce still, but
yeah.
we'll be going through that. But yeah, Donaire will be coming out. Will either have come out or be going out later today, which is another fun name in there. Great fighter, great puncher, especially that weight. So I think look at the lineups, and the talent pool in both is very deep. So it's clear that with 8, we're not going to cover everyone. What I'm trying to do is bring in as many champs as possible, but also bring in some fun guys who are great fighters. And I think Donaire checks all those boxes. I think, there's Josh Taylor at the weekend. He's not world champ, but he's number 1. I think now at the
WBC, yeah.
But he brings for me a lot. Yeah, I saw the reaction. I didn't know there were so many Scottish boxing fans. Amazing, sensational. Can't wait to be going up there with him. It looked like a right crack, so that'll be good fun, I think.
So just for names that are confirmed today. So you have Josh Taylor.
Yeah.
You have the winner of Prograis and Velasco, who fight next week, 14th of July. The winner of that goes in.
Yeah.
You have Trinovsky.
Trinovsky, correct. Trinovsky, who has to fight Relic, the world
WBA world champion.
Yigit against Baranchik, which is for the IBF vacant belt.
So you're a couple that you haven't announced yet.
Yeah. We're a couple of ones.
Could they involve another Brit? Possibility?
Just lightweights. Had to keep you guessing. There's one in particular we're talking to. He's English.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, spread the love.
More Brits in there, the better for us.
Absolutely. I mean, look, we did spoil the UK with the first season. We had obviously with Groves, Cox, EUBANK, Smith. It was a very
strong. That was strong.
It was also like I said about the US. It was for us. It was a very specific choice. I can't say that every season now we're going to come out with that sort of lineup for the UK. But I think you'll be very happy with what's in the final 24. 16, of course, will be announced before the final, and then we're going to announce the other 8 and the other weight class, which is being signed up in the background. So it's not like we haven't got to work on that yet, because it starts in September. So the turnaround time, these guys are already in camp. They're not too happy. They've got to come over to Moscow now for the draft, for the gala, which is the night before. Very important. The night before. Have you got your visa yet, by the way?
You thought what?
Have you got your visa for Russia?
I ain't got a visa for this country, let alone Russia.
It's out of the bag now. You see that? What's the reward on your head? I wonder.
There isn't. There's no demand. There's no demand for that either.
But the night before the final, UZYK-GASSIV in Moscow, will be the night before, so the 20th of July. Will be the draft, which is big stage. I think we've got 1,500 person crowd in there this year. It's in the ballet theatre. Zach Taidu, very nice. And it will be the night before the final in Russia. So that I don't know if anyone hasn't seen it. Go on the website and have a look at the one last year from Monaco. It's a good laugh. You know, it's good fun. This year there's going to be quite a few fixed ones. We talked about Relic, Troyanovsky, which has to be done. Baranchik, Yigit, that's fixed already. So the choices are going to be limited. That's on the way takes away a little bit of the edge on it. On the other hand, it makes for the let's say the seeds, even the top seeds potentially, the choice.
So it's not going to be
one of four.
It's not going to be. Is it going to be the same sort of
exactly the same
situation before where the
Correct.
top seeds get to pick who they're fighting?
Yes.
Yes.
But the choice will be more limited because
because some of the fighters are already fixed.
We had it last year with one. We had Gassiev, Vladarchik was fixed. It was the IBF mandatory. So we have to put the mandatories in as fixed brackets. So Relic, Troyanovsky at the super lights, Relic, we have Relic, Troyanovsky, then Yigit Baranchik, which is actually for a vacant belt for the IBF, so we got that belt in as well. You know, it's great, and you know, it's all. You know, it will be a beautiful production to watch on TV, internet, stream, what else you call it these days. Lose track of the names.
It's lit anyway.
It's lit. It's lit. It's not an iPhone job. No. Go on the website, worldboxingsuperseries.com, and have a look. Have a look at last year's because it's spectacular.
Are you combining like the bantamweight fights with the lightweight fights, like on the same night? Or will it be specifically?
He wants an exclusive. I'll tell you what we're doing.
Because how are you going to do it? I was just wondering, especially with the
third
third season, third weight class to be announced.
You know what, you never cease to amaze me because I've given quite a few interviews on the third weight class, this, that, and the other. What's the weight? And everyone's asking the same. I mean, I think most people on the internet, at least, they're guessing the right third weight class. So I don't need to comment on that. Can't officially do that, but I think everyone's guessing the right direction.
I think everyone's going to be interested to see a heavyweight one.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Talking about that third weight class,
but you just pushed. It will be double headers. Yes,
it has to be. Surely, doesn't it?
Not all of them. Not all of them. But there will be double headers this time, which will be.
Which is good. There's it's brilliant.
But there'll even be double headers. I don't into a secret. In the semi-finals. Some of the semis are.
So you could have a lightweight semi and a bantamweight semi.
Yeah.
Could you go one more and start triple threating them? No. Putting 3 weight classes when it's announced on one night.
Next question, Koo. Come on.
No,
you haven't had your ginger shot yet.
Is that possible?
It's possible if you want to go skint. Yeah. Possible. It's possible to have 5 main events. You know.
Why not?
Why not? Eh?
Why not?
Why not? Value for money. You know?
The third weight class. When are you going to announce that?
By the way, a tenner for Gassiev UZYK. Now I know people say, "Oh, well, we have to sort of finance the final somehow." So a tenner for UZYK-GASSIV. Sorry, you can't knock that.
I don't think you can knock that at all.
And if you watch it, if you're not,
you can't buy a drink for a tenner in some of these places.
Me and you watch that together. We both throw in. It's the same price as a pint, isn't it? So you just have 1 pint less and watch the fight, and not watch it via some dodgy illegal stream.
List me 5 things you can't buy for a tenner. All right, 3 things.
I don't know. 3 things I cannot buy for a tenner.
Yeah.
Well, I can't buy my next. My next bottle of champagne. I can't buy my. No, I'm joking. No, what sort of questions that?
Well,
what can I not buy for £1? What's the price of a pint of milk?
No, but I'm saying a tenner because that's how much your pay-per-view for UZYK-GASSIV is. That's why I was using that.
But there's a lot. There's a lot of things. Loads of things. But it's
you can't buy Nando's for a tenner.
Yeah, it depends what you want.
Well, if you went in there and bought 2 lots of halloumi cheese and a drink, I think you'd have some change. But
yeah, you're right, actually. You're right.
But if you want a proper Nando's,
I had to Nando's the other day. Yeah, you're right.
How much was it? Was it over a tenner? It would have been. Yes.
Yeah. I think Nando's. Yeah, but you're probably right. So let me say it differently.
I'm trying to say it's value for money.
Leave your next Nando's out and buy UZYK-GASSIV. There you go. That's a sales pitch for the day. Christ. You stick to your job, I'll stick to mine.
No problem. Kalle, the third weight class, when are you looking to announce that?
Directly after the final.
Okay.
No,
Is that any indication?
Yeah, I mean, you know, if we were doing the cruiserweights, which is nowhere confirmed or set, then of course we'd have to wait for the finals to take place. You know, I've said all along, the third weight will be a heavier weight class. So
Heavier or levelled out?
I said a heavier weight class.
Heavier weight class than what?
But I always say heavier
Than what you have currently, okay.
Yeah.
Not what you...
I mean, you know,
Okay. Fair enough.
heavy than middle. No, no. To be honest, I would see heavy as above middleweight and above, and lighter weights as below middleweights, super welter and below.
Hypothetically, if it was the cruiserweights, which you haven't confirmed, could there be repeat offenders in there?
Well, you don't need to do it if they were repeat offenders. I mean, you have seen the semi-finals, haven't you, Kug? I mean,
No, I'm just saying whether you're going for...
porn, you'd watch that 100
No,
times.
100%. What I'm saying is,
So, I mean,
you're involved, if it was, involved the same fighters, some of the same fighters.
Try it. I mean, there's certain ones
Yes,
that
right.
potentially might be going up. But I mean, for me, even if you just did the reverse semi-finals, did them again. You know, I've watched 24 rounds of both those fights. You know, I mean, and add to that some of the kids that have come into the weight class in the last 12 months. There's activity. There's been activity in it. Look at some fighters that maybe didn't make the cut last time. You know, yeah. I think the cruiserweights is certainly an interesting one to look at. It's got a depth in it, and I've always said, I've been working with cruiserweights for many years, and if you look at it, they are trained heavyweights. Yeah? And they're heavyweight in the Olympics, called heavyweights. You know, they are trained. They have to make weight still. They're big boys who have to make weight. You know, that's the way I'm looking at it. And they've put on cracking fights for years, by the way. Yeah? It's just that it's come through the tournament that they've suddenly got this platform. There's been great.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
You know, great fights.
What was interesting the other day is obviously, not just the other day, but Tony Bellew has sort of strengthened his voice about wanting to fight the winner of UZYK-GASSIV.
Yeah.
So hypothetically,
absolutely,
if you did a cruiserweight one, could you put Bellew in it?
Tony's
and then get the winner in there?
Tony is going to have, and if it's the cruiserweights, he will have. We'll send it by personal royal pigeon to Liverpool. The invitation.
Would you love him in that? I think everyone would. Yeah.
I like him privately. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a lovely guy, Tony. I think he's a fun guy. I think earlier in his career he got often misunderstood quite often because he's very erratic when he does his interviews, which I love because that's passion. You know, you can see there's a passion. It's not some bullshit.
Like what we're watching with you now.
Trained crap. No, I'm media trained. You know.
You're absolutely not media trained. You're absolutely not media trained.
I'm working on it. I thought this was
this is what's great.
That's what I do with you. It's
this
practice,
is great.
You know,
People love to see
me
this.
and you. It's a private session.
People don't know you come in at 6 o'clock in the morning. You was on the Brandies last night.
Exactly.
It's great.
Off camera, ladies. No. But joking aside, that's what I like. I like that in sport. I don't like this. You know, I think one of the biggest problems people have with the Klitschko's over the years, because they were great fighters, and probably not so much Vitaly, because Vitaly was a very good talker as well. But Vladimir was very media trained, so he was perfect, but it was very media trained, which I can understand because they were learning the language. I mean, you've got to imagine they came from the Ukraine, had to learn all the languages, you know. So you've got to tip your hat off to them as well. But it's very media trained. It's attracted a lot of sponsors as well. But I mean, personally, I like watching people like Tony give an interview because you don't know what he's going to say next, you know. It's a bit like watching Slaven Bilic in the World Cup. The guy is sensational. I mean, he is, you know, and I think, you know, to have him in a tournament, you know, you look at characters. I mean, look at UZYK with his I am feel. I mean, for me, every time I hear that, it just cracks me up. I am feel. And I think you should spend some time with a guy. He's got that superstar material. Tony, don't get, and I didn't say that about you, Tony. Don't, you know, I know you've been in a couple of Hollywood films and all that, but no. But joking aside, Tony's got that salt of the earth thing about him, which a lot of fights for Liverpool, to be fair, have. Yeah, Pricey as well. You know, Pricey's another one who's got that. You know, Smiths as well. You know, for me, I've got a lot of time for Liverpool. That's I think, you know, I like that. I like that part of the world.
Okay, Kalle. Yesterday, you kind of shut down rumours after James DeGALE announced that he's vacated his
How did
IBF
I do that?
with your emojis.
I did. You know, I was sitting on the couch and I just saw it.
There was a report going out
I
there.
saw that, but I just saw the thing and I thought, yeah, it's got to be
that was confirmation to everyone that you're kind of ruling that out.
You're the social media expert. How do people see that I just replied to this fella with an emoji?
Well, to be honest with you, sometimes wherever the original story come from, they may follow you and the publication.
Okay.
In which case, that would come on their timeline.
Okay.
Say it come on my timeline because I follow the publication we're talking about and you. But then sometimes it just
Okay, right, okay. That's it. I'm not media trained. I'm also not social media trained.
I think I've got that right.
Which that's why.
But also, people look at the comments underneath it, and it kind of just spirals.
And I think
when someone likes a comment or retweets that same thing, but that was confirmation for everyone DeGALE isn't.
I understand we're in a business of especially with social media these days, which can be a right pain in the arse. I think we're in a business where you put 2 and 2 together, and often 8 comes out.
I can understand why people did it.
I get it, and yeah. I mean, the move of James to give up the belt. I think there is big fights out there. I think UZYK-GASSIV is a Boxing Insider's big fight, but it's not a big fight. So I can see at this stage of his career, I totally get the decision. I don't think it's much to do with that he's scared of something of UZYK-GASSIV. I think that's a complete, you know, that's.
I mean, it's a tough fight.
It's a tough fight, but you've got to look at this as a business of trying to make the biggest fights when you know you've got a couple of fights left.
Yeah.
UZYK-GASSIV is not a big fight. It's an insider's big fight, but it's not a big fight. Let's be realistic.
Not the kind of fight that James DeGALE is looking at if he is only looking at a couple of fights left.
It's not a pay-per-view unless you stack the card. That's on, let's say, the level of certain pay-per-views at that weight class. So you're competing at that time of year. You'll be competing with Smith Groves, probably Joshua Povetkin. No idea what else is out there, but so I think the logical fight for him to go and do now is Billy Joe. You know, which I've heard.
A lot of talk about that as well.
But if you're looking at the big UK fights, which I think, if I read correctly, that's what they said, then there is no other big UK fight out there right now, because under contract to the World Boxing Super Series, we hold contracts with Groves, Smith and EUBANK.
EUBANK as well?
EUBANK is under contract to the World Boxing Super Series for the final as reserve.
So he is the reserve. I was going to ask you about that. He is the reserve.
Tell you now, is that
give me a lot today, Kalle.
I know. You're coming a long way, you know. I mean, you come from Essex to South London, you're going to get some
Kalle magic dust. That sounded wrong. Anyway, EUBANK.
I didn't pick up on that. EUBANK. No, we'll be reserve. Like we've had it all along. We put the final date back a little bit to try our very best to get the original final. But ultimately, if there's an injury in training now, whatever it is, then it will be
EUBANK in.
X against EUBANK, you know, and that is the way it is, you know.
What month?
Which, by the way, if you look at either side, would still be a cracking fight.
I think so. Yeah. You know, when all them rumours about Smith and EUBANK, I mean, I was thinking, I still want to watch that fight. I get why people want to see Groves and Smith. I want to see that.
EUBANK too. You want to watch both, but to be honest, you still would like to watch Groves Smith as a priority.
Of course.
So we went over backwards to do this. That fight will take place in September. And you know, the venue is potentially outside the UK.
Potentially outside the UK.
A lot of rumours about. I've heard Las Vegas. I've heard Middle East. I've heard lots of different rumours. So Arabia.
I've heard 4 different places.
Yeah, I've even heard Australia the other day, which is I've never been to Australia.
I've heard Japan.
Japan, yeah. That would make sense.
I've heard Japan, Dubai, Middle East,
Yeah.
and Battersea.
I heard Battersea as well. Power station.
Okay.
Opening. 2022.
So, Kalle, this
Are they
is.
actually going to reopen that power
I
station?
have no idea. You should know.
Well, I bought it.
So it's
Why should I know? I'm on the construction business, son.
possibly
yeah, possibly. Yeah.
September, but unlikely to be in the UK. Highly unlikely to be in the UK. Is that fair?
It's against the odds at the moment.
When are you going to announce that?
Waiting for a call.
Before the final of the cruiserweights?
Oh yeah, very much expect that. Yeah, absolutely. It will be before.
Has
the
it been a
final.
bit frustrating this sort of last 3-4 months because there's been venue changes, date changes?
Yeah. I mean, well, there hasn't officially. There's been no date changes because we never announced any dates. So
penciled in date
yeah,
changes.
let's say there's been
Okay.
Twitter date changes, right? You know, we had the June 2nd reserved at the O2, and everyone made that. Well, that's a confirmed date. You know, I mean, maybe I'll reserve that for my birthday party. You know. I mean, you know, let's be serious,
enough.
right?
Fair
June
enough.
2nd, I know I even mentioned it in I said, you know, we've held, and, you know, but we never confirmed the date, you know, and that, I challenge anyone to test me on that, because we never confirmed a date. So it's now,
It was a touted date, shall we say.
We moved the final so that everyone gets the final they want to see, and then you're sort of being told, well, why are you not giving out the date? Well, you know why? Because we're trying to make it into a mega event, which it should be at the end of the first season. The final is the final. It's the first ever Muhammad Ali trophy. Actually, the second. I mean, UZYK-GASSIV is now before that, but it's the first season. It's the so it's I think it's a big thing for both fighters. I think that they're both very, very, very keen on the final, of course. So they want it to be perfect as well.
And for the first time in history, one man will hold all 4 belts around his waist.
Absolutely, and 5 if you take Ring Magazine as well.
5.
But I think it's also, you know, it's the first sort of Champions League of boxing. If you see it like that, and I see when they get that trophy is very, very impressive. I think that's good. I think that's a little bit. It's going to be a good moment.
20.
Great, by the way, it's massive set in there. That arena, it's amazing.
How many does it hold?
It's set up for, I think, 26,000.
Do you want to give a couple of tickets away on IFL?
I'd always give it a couple of tickets away, but they've got to get to Moscow.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how we're going to work that one out. No, I think it's a great Moscow as well, and the year when the World Cup's there. I think it's been a great World Cup organisationally. It looks like I've got mates who've gone over there. So yeah, it's a bit different, you know, but it's from, let's say, your tournaments when it's in the western parts of Europe. But he said it's been a great crack, and you know, I think they've put on a good show there.
I know Russia was talked about obviously before being the venue potentially alongside Jeddah as well.
Yeah.
But was the World Cup an influence in putting that there?
I mean,
Like straight off the back of that, if you like.
We had an event in Sochi Doltikos versus Gassiev in February. Now I've promoted outside before the World Boxing Super Series. I promoted Nikolai Valuev, the heavyweight world champion from Russia, David Haby. I had Alexander Povetkin for many years, from when he turned pro until he became world champion, until the Klitschko fight. And so I've put on quite a few events in Russia, and it's not an easy country to promote in, I've got to say. But they seem to have really developed the boxing market there, and Sochi was the nuts. You know, I mean, I've always seen the Russian, let's say, the atmosphere has always been a bit subdued, right? Not quite on the German front, but not quite as let's say formal as that. But Sochi was second to none, up there with the atmosphere I've seen in big UK shows, or Kessler in Denmark. You know, it was unbelievable, Sochi. I mean, it was nuts. So, and the organisation was great, and they're taking this very seriously. It's all part of a Boxing Day celebration over there. They have a National Boxing Day, so not Boxing Day. It's not. Don't worry, I'm not moving it to December. It's the Boxing Day, which is on the Sunday in Red Square, So this is a big thing over there. And, you know, I think it's obviously it's an interesting one. Ukraine, you know, UZYK going into the backyard of the Russian. You know, I think it's set up for an absolute blockbuster. I don't need to sell it. Just go watch the semi-finals.
Okay, before we move on to a couple of other things, is there anything else regarding, I know you've got a few more announcements that are sort of pending that will come over the next few days and a couple of weeks, I should imagine, regarding the other fighters in the lightweights and bantamweights.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to shove in?
No, I just, you know, like I said, I think everyone is already very hyped up about the lineups. You know, if someone, you know, to explain the thinking always behind it, like I said before, it's world champions that form the basis. But then I don't just look at the sporting side of it. I look at the sport. The sporting side must be top draw, but I try and get those characters in as well. You know, so there's, you know, it's the mix is great, and just keep watching the next few days. We'll just keep on putting those names out there.
You're involved with Pulev, aren't you?
Yeah, my brother Tim Salmon's involved.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Well, ish.
Yeah.
Ish. What is the...
It's very different these days. So I've totally stepped back from
No, I know. To a point where he doesn't even like you anymore.
Yeah. Pulev.
No, I'm talking about your brother.
Yeah. But that's been since birth, so...
Yeah.
You know.
What is the situation with him and Jarrell Miller? Do you know?
I've heard that. I've just heard that, you know, Pulev is looking at is looking to fight in Bulgaria. But these people have come up with a lot of money. But I'm just looking at the moment. I'm literally just focusing on the World Boxing Super Series. That's very much my brother's cup of tea at the moment. And my brother's cup of tea is probably the wrong word, but it's his baby at the moment. But I think, you know, Pulev is a great fighter. At heavyweight, you know, he's one of those ones that you've got to put in the top 5 or 6, and you know, I think, you know, Miller against him is a great test, and you know, the ultimate reward, as it would be, you know.
But Miller, is he reluctant to travel to Bulgaria?
I don't know him. I've never spoken to him. I don't know.
Sounds like everyone's reluctant to travel to Bulgaria.
Yeah, you know, it sounds on paper terrible, but I've promoted shows in Bulgaria in the past. I mean, it's been cracking shows, yeah? Cracking shows, and very friendly, you know. Ask Sam Peter, ask... I can't remember who else fought there for us, but ask Sam Peter, you know, Nigerian Nightmare. Good man, he's a top man. But he lost, but he had a great time over there.
But obviously this is nothing to do with you, I just wanted your opinion about this. What have you made of this whole Joshua Wilder Povetkin situation, which has kind of transpired over the last couple of weeks, where we now know that Joshua will fight Povetkin in September and not Wilder?
First of all, I think Povetkin Joshua is a live fight. Yeah, like I said,
I agree. Yeah,
Povetkin. I don't think that Povetkin's now over the hill. Like, Povetkin is not a fighter who's relying on a speed that necessarily declines with age. Right? You know, speed does decline with age, but there's certain types of the physical aspects of boxing that decline quicker with age. Now, Povetkin's age doesn't worry me one bit here. I actually had lunch with Povetkin in February. He looks in tremendous shape. Right? I took him from his first pro fight to being a world champion, defending his world title, to fighting Klitschko. You know, he is, believe me, a sensational heavyweight. You know, anyone who knows anything about boxing, the kid, as an amateur, won the as a kickboxer, won the European Championship and the World Championship, I think twice. Went to boxing, European twice, World Championship twice. All the other big titles you could win as an amateur. Then he went to the Olympics, won the gold medal at the Olympics. This guy, I remember signing him as a pro. He was the hottest property out there. The deal was one of the most complicated deals I've ever done in boxing. Povetkin is live. He is a live fight, and he's, you know, this is not a voluntary. This is a mandatory. So He would definitely not be on top of AJ and Rob's shopping list if it was a voluntary. I can assure you that. So I think I don't think that no one's running from nothing. I don't think that they necessarily want the Povetkin fight. I think that they're very keen on those belts. I know that also from, let's say, discussions we've had in the past on other mandatories where Team Sauerland has been involved. So I think that if you look at that, it says a lot about Anthony wanting to defend his world title belts, which I can understand. Ultimately that's the reason why when you talk about the splits with Wilder and brings us on nicely to Wilder, I can understand all the commercial arguments. You're always going to have a difficult job when you have the final belt to unify, and the one guy's an American. It's very difficult then to say that the split shouldn't be 50-50. However, my argument would be different. I would say, look, he's actually collected all the other world title fights. He's done more unifications. That would be my justification on the split. It wouldn't be, wow, the UK's worth more than America, or an argument like that. You're not going to get far with an American on those sort of arguments when they're putting out those big dollar offers. But the basic justification in my head, if I was representing Joshua, would be very simple. Joshua has been through unification fights to get to where he is now. He's been in the bigger fights to get those belts together. So it's risk reward, this business, yeah. So from that justification, he's very much the man to beat.
Whose fault is it that the Wilder Joshua fight isn't happening? There's obviously a split opinion about whether it's Wilder's camp or Hearn and Matchroom as the reason why the actual fight isn't happening next.
I think you have to look at the mandatory, and I don't think they would have got around that.
They could have at some point, I suppose. But
I don't know the ins
it's not
and
a
outs
fight that's
of it
going
now,
to be
but-
done overnight.
But I certainly don't think that. I don't think it's Matchroom. I think Eddie Barry would love the fight. Who wouldn't love to promote that fight or be involved in it? They wouldn't be sole promoters, but to be involved in that fight would be sensational. So, no, I don't buy that for 1 minute. Not for 1 minute. Wilder. I think that Wilder wants that fight as well. So I think, especially my old man was with Wilder at the Hall of Fame not so long ago, and Wilder wants that fight. So I think everyone wants it, but it's like one of those. I'm not so concerned because I'm quite happy watching. As a fan now, I'm quite happy watching Joshua Povetkin because that for me is a great fight, and I am certain that as long as no one loses in the meantime, that fight will take place at Wembley Stadium next summer. I'm telling you now,
Well, we know
the Alamodome in America. But the sad thing is, that, to be quite honest, I don't think it would sell a stadium in America. So you have to go to the UK, or you fucking do the prizes in Vegas. But who wants that? Who wants to But rather do a big stadium show. It's Wembley Stadium. It's made for it. It's iconic. There's enough bloody Americans in London, so I won't worry too much about that. If Wilder is a pull, there'll be enough Yanks there. So, I don't see it as that like Wembley Stadium is this hostile crowd. If I was a fighter, I'd much rather fight at Wembley Stadium than fight from let's say being overwhelmed by the aggressiveness of the crowd than fighting in the Telford ice rink. I remember going with Marcus Beyer versus Richie Woodall on the Telford ice rink, and I tell you something, you walked in there, you were thinking, shit, am I going to get back to the locker room after this? Wembley is Wembley, It's like there's 10 metres between you and the fans. There's nothing to worry about at Wembley. So it's influenced no one. That's rubbish, That's crap. But if you're a betting man, I'll tell you, it'll be next summer at Wembley Stadium. That's my guess. Which, let's be honest about it, when has a big fight at heavyweight ever been made without a bit of, push and shove between promoters and fighters and splits and this, that and the other? And it always takes one guy has to pull a little bit of a risk. And then someone will do that.
Okay.
Some big numbers flying around that fight though, bloody hell. $50 million offers and God knows what.
Talking KALLE SAUERLAND money.
50 million, not 100 million. Right, end of the interview.
All right. I can't do it.
You have to come into camera.
No, I can't. I absolutely not going to do it.
This is.
I'm not-
You know what I noticed? This is not. It's not like. It's not even that strong. This is your morning ginger shot.
Oh my
Okay,
God,
I'll explain
please.
what's happening off camera here. He's smelling it. He's looking at it. His eyes have gone a bit wonky. Gone.
I'll have to get in the shot, won't I? Otherwise people won't
Come
have
on,
fun.
come on. I'll tilt the camera here.
No, just leave it.
Right, go on. This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL London in association with MTK Global.
Mazel tov.
Muzzle top.
Motherfucker! Motherfucker!
He done it. I love it.
That's actually alright.
It's good, I tell you. It's
actually
gives you a
alright.
kick up the backside.
Right.
All right.
Kalle, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV.
That was good. I like that. Man of word, Coog.
Of course. If I say I deliver.
It's a pleasure to see you here.
Shout out to
Sure.
KALLE SAUERLAND. Shout out to World Boxing Series. Shout out to IFL TV.
Absolutely.
And of course MTK Global.
MTK Global, my good friends. Hope you have a great day, Coog, and I wish you. I wish you a nice couple of weeks. Well, I'm going to see you in Moscow. We'll talk about it off camera now.
We shall talk indeed. Thank you very much and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you.